you believe that you aren't as good as other people? Do you measure your success based on your job title and how much money you make? Have you tried things like meditation and yoga, yet you still have low self-worth? What are you doing? I am sick and tired of you saying negative things to me. I'm about to start saying positive affirmations to myself and doing yoga. Oh, really now? Yes, I am. I love you. You are an amazing person. You are worthy. Namaste. Yeah, that mess is going to last you a whole 3 days. Damn, our minds can be complete bitches sometimes. Literally our worst enemy. When I was going to college, I struggled with low self-worth. I was going to the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City, and I was working at a retail store in Fifth Avenue. I had a district manager who was so rude and disrespectful to me. When I tell you, she was literally my Miranda Priestley from The Devil Wears Prada. I'm not even joking. She literally told me, I only hire pretty people.
Is it impossible to find a lovely, slender female paratrooper? No. Am I reaching for the stars here? No. Not really.
She would talk down on me and would stop at nothing to try to intimidate me. Why? Why would I allow her to do that? Because she had the power to get me fired.
I don't care if she was gonna fire you or beat you with a red hot poker. You should have said no.
You see, I thought I wasn't as good as her because I was making $14 an hour and I was just a retail sales associate and she was a district manager making 6 figures. I allowed her to tear me down because I put my self-worth and how much money I was making in my job title. I told myself, Devin, you need this job. You need this money. If you get fired, you're gonna have to move back home to Texas and I'm gonna feel like a complete failure. So I sucked it up and I took it for 2.5 long years. And now we're back in present day. I no longer live in New York City. I no longer work in the fashion industry, and I've never had to ask her for a recommendation ever for a job. Was that disrespect worth it? It took me a long time to forgive myself for that. Now, was it my manager's fault that I had low self-worth? No, it wasn't, because low self-worth stems from unresolved past experiences and trauma. Wait, so you're telling me I can't just meditate my low self-worth away? Sorry, sweetie, but no. Aww. You see, instead of a thought that you can just meditate away, it's a belief. Those past experiences that you've had led to negative beliefs about the world. And there is one emotion that drives low self-worth, and that's shame. Hey, do you want to know why you're still single? No. Well, I'm gonna tell you anyways. Remember that time in 7th grade when you pooped your pants in front of your crush? Yeah, no guy wants a girl who poops her pants. They want a blonde hair, blue-eyed girl, and you just ain't it. Well, thanks for that. Anytime. We feel ashamed of who we are not, the things we have, the things we don't have, the things we've experienced in life. And we believe that all of these negative experiences shape who we are as a person. Now, you might be wondering, why do I have low self-worth? Well, I'm gonna tell you. Because in order to fix our issues, we need to understand what caused them in the first place. So I'm gonna give you 3 triggers that typically cause low self-worth. Number 1, childhood trauma. One of the most common reasons for low self-worth is if you've experienced sexual abuse, physical abuse, or mental abuse as a child. And in an attempt to understand what's happening, a child will typically blame themselves or detach themselves from their world. This can look like a parent or sibling dying, a parent suddenly leaving, losing your home, or being bullied at school, or anything that deeply affected your sense of self or sense of safety. Number 2, adverse childhood experiences. This is basically a psychological term that children live through that might not qualify as trauma. And this could be things like neglect, growing up in poverty, an alcoholic or sick parent, one parent being more violent to the other, a family member going to jail, or your parents divorcing. Number 3, poor attachment style. Attachment theory is to be able to grow up as an adult and have healthy, trusting relationships. You need a caregiver in your early years who you can trust to always take care of you and who is always going to be there for you and is always going to accept you. These negative core beliefs can sound a lot like, everyone else is better than me. I am unlovable. If they knew the real me, nobody would want to know that something inside of me is beyond repair. Do you relate to any of this? If not, did you have a great upbringing and you just recently started having feelings of low self-worth? For example, did you have a really bad breakup with a toxic guy and you just now started having feelings of low self-worth? I was confident until that jerk came into my life. Yeah. that this is what you tell yourself. This way of thinking is very common in people who have low self-worth. They create a false history, recreating events, playing victim, and blaming others for their unresolved experiences and trauma. Just like I didn't blame my district manager in New York for my low self-worth, you have to deal with your issues head on instead of placing it on someone else. Owning up to the fact that we have gone through all of these negative experiences takes a lot of courage, but we would rather be in denial and blame others because it's easier. Now, if you continue to stay this way, what does low self-worth lead to? A lot of these common signs of low self-worth could be things like difficulty with intimacy in relationships. You're very defensive and you constantly blame other people for your problems. You have this lack of life purpose. You have poor personal boundaries. You tread water with your career addictions. There's a lot of alcohol abuse, party abuse, and drug addictions. There's secret self-harm, victim mentality, and anxiety and depression. Now that you know that you suffer from low self-worth and what it can lead to if you do not address your problems, how do we fix this? How do we address this? Well, I'm not going to sit here and tell you to do yoga and do positive affirmations and lie to yourself. I'm a bad bitch! Low self-worth has deep-rooted issues. So here are 6 tips to help with your low self-worth. Number 1, self-help journaling. Don't just record what happened to you, record your feelings, record how you're feeling in that moment. That way you can track your mood, and whenever you're feeling better, you can say, I am not always this way, things will change. This will allow you to see your feelings in a raw way from what you didn't see before, things that might be triggering you. Number 2, learn to set boundaries and say no. Hey, let's go out for pizza and drinks tonight. Sorry, I told you I was on a diet. Oh, come on, girl, 1 drink is not gonna bother you. I'm sorry, I'm on a diet, I can't go, thanks for understanding. Number 3, don't be afraid of confrontation. Oh my God, there was this one time Devin and I were at the club. This girl cannot dance to save her life. Excuse me? Don't talk about me like that. Just because I was out there having fun does not mean anything. I had a good time doing my Cabbage Patch dance. I was always scared to confront people or for confrontation because I didn't want to be seen as a bitch. But guess what? When they were out there disrespecting you, did they care about your feelings? No, they didn't. So why should you? Don't be afraid of confrontation because honestly, what's the worst that can happen? Honestly, they're gonna think you're a bitch. Oh well, get over it. Because what's gonna happen is if you don't stand up for yourself, you're gonna sit back later on in life and think, man, I should have stood up for myself in that moment. I don't think anyone ever regrets standing up for themselves. I don't think anyone does. But a lot of people regret not standing up for themselves. Number 4, list out your accomplishments. A lot of times when you have low self-worth, you often feel like you haven't accomplished anything in life. We often want to focus on the negative and our flaws and our weaknesses and the things that we have not done well or the things that we have not succeeded in. But by listing out your accomplishments, it really allows you to see all of the things that you have done in life and all of the success that you have created for yourself. List out your strengths, list out your values. And I'm sure you will see that you have done a lot more in life than you truly think. Number 5, stop with the toxic positive affirmation. You might be writing them down. You might be writing them down before you go to bed or after you wake up. Because sometimes positive affirmations, they just don't work. Why? Because it can cause shame. And remember, shame is tied to low self-worth. If you don't believe the affirmations that you are making and it's not tied directly to your current life and what you're experiencing, it can often feel like, well, I'm not doing something right. They don't last because your inner child is like, what are you talking about? This was not my experience. But if we take those same affirmations and put it in the context of our trauma, it'll land more. For example, you could say something like, I am going to be a successful business owner. Even though I don't have a lot of money now, I am going to try my best every single day with what I have to achieve my goals. So instead of saying things like, I know I'm strong and beautiful, you could say something like, I know I am strong and beautiful. Even though I was bullied as a child, I am trying every single day to love myself even more. Number 6, give yourself time. No, we're gonna work, work, work. We wasted way too much time. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Mind, shut up. Don't be so hard on yourself. You've gone through years of trauma and experiences. Set goals for yourself, 6-month increments, even year-long increments. It could take time. So don't feel like you have to rush to work on your low self-worth. Take the time that you need to get to where you need to be. Measuring your success based on what you have and what you don't have in your job title or how much money you make or your car is not going to do you any good. It's honestly just going to make you feel worse. You are perfect just the way you are. You don't need to measure your success or self-worth or start second guessing yourself and having to ask other people for validation. Let yourself be in charge of your own life and stop allowing your mind, yes, your mind, to stop speaking negatively to you. Your mind is your worst enemy. Now, if you've learned from this video and you want to see more and learn how to set boundaries and say no and stand up for yourself, then go watch my video on how not to people please. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and with love.
That's all. That's all. That's all. That's all. That's all.